I ran away because I think my fiancé was trying to get me pregnant. There's a loaded sentence. Don't make the joke. Don't make the joke, Joss. Don't make the joke. Nope. I'm not gonna do it. We are more mature than that. This story was first posted February 1st, 2025, so it's fresh. I've 26, female, have always known that I didn't want kids. From a young age, even when adults asked me how many kids I wanted, my answer was always none. I didn't even know what child-free meant, but I always was. As I got older, I realized what it was. I just didn't feel that unconditional love that's supposed to come with having children. Could I love a child? What if? I can't be a mother because I don't know what that kind of love feels like. That is how I've spent my whole life. Then I met my fiance, 34 male, 2 years ago. He was my first everything, and I finally experienced romantic love. But when it came to kids, I still knew I couldn't do it from the beginning. So I told him that having kids was off the table. He said he was fine with that because he never really liked kids, so it wasn't a problem for him. 5 months ago, he proposed, and I said yes. We moved in together and everything was perfect. We were planning our wedding slowly, no rush. This was until his sister had a baby 2 months ago. My fiance instantly fell in love with his nephew and was there every step of the way. Oh, he's catching that baby fever. Baby fever is a real thing. He bathed him, changed him, and napped with him. It seemed normal, I guess, so I didn't mind. 3 weeks ago, we went to his sister's house for lunch. My fiance was mowing her lawn when she asked me to watch the baby for a couple of minutes. I tried to refuse, but she looked so down that I agreed. I thought she would just put him in a stroller or something, but she plopped him into my arms and went upstairs. I panicked. I had never held such a small baby before, and I was terrified I might drop him. 5 minutes in, he started crying. At first it was fine, but then he started screaming at the top of his lungs. How can such a tiny baby be so loud? I was almost in tears myself. I stood up as gently as I could and went outside where my fiance was. I yelled at him to come grab the baby from me, and he came over, took a picture of me holding the baby, and instead of taking him from me, he started giving me tips on how to calm him down. He pushed the baby closer to my chest and said, "He really suits you." I was on the verge of a panic attack, my hands trembling. I was even more scared to drop him. I yelled, "If you don't grab him, I'm putting him on the floor." He got angry, called me and grabbed the baby. I couldn't handle it anymore, so I took an Uber home. He came home around midnight, showered, and went to sleep on the couch. The next morning, he was already gone when I woke up, and he didn't come home until 3 a.m. I told him we needed to talk, but he just said tomorrow and went back to the couch. The next day, when I came home from work, he was waiting for me. We sat down, and he apologized for how he reacted, saying he didn't know what got into him. I asked the question I already knew the answer to. Me, do you want to have kids now? Him, I don't know. I just love him so much, you know? Me, well, that's normal, isn't it? Him, I guess. But do you really feel that way against having kids? You don't even have to get pregnant or give birth. We can adopt. I talked about how scary pregnancy and childbirth were for me, especially because of how hard it was for my mom. She almost died giving birth to me due to complications, and she had to have an emergency hysterectomy. Back to the conversation. Me, that's not the only reason, and you know that. You know how I feel about not knowing if I could love a kid unconditionally. Him, I know, but you learned to love me, right? You can love a child too. Listen, we don't have to agree on this now. We can get married first and then revisit it. Please don't shut it down immediately. Then he started to cry and hugged me, so I dropped it. But deep down, I knew I couldn't be a mom. I know myself, and honestly, I felt betrayed by him. I thought I'd eventually start resenting him, but I hoped that we could get past this. Then he started doing some strange things. He changed his wallpaper to the picture of me holding the baby. He started calling me mama. He wanted to start having unprotected sex. No. And he began touching my belly when he thought I was asleep. I have fertility issues that I've never treated because what was the point? My period is irregular, but mostly pain-free, so I never bothered to do anything about it. But when he suggested I go to the doctor to see what's going on with that, I panicked. I felt like he was trying to get me pregnant, and abortion is still illegal in the country that we're living in. So I left. I told him my mom fell in the shower and broke her leg, a lie, and I wanted to stay with her for a couple of days to make sure she was okay. He said that was fine, and I waited for him to go to work. Then I grabbed important documents, some clothes, sentimental things, my dog, and I left. The dog is really the most important. I don't know if what I did was right. I'm starting to doubt myself. Maybe he just wanted me to be healthy. Maybe he was just cuddling me or liked the picture, but I can't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He hasn't realized that I left to never come back. Wait, what? You're gone. He just questioned why I took the dog, jokingly. I didn't tell anyone. I just told my mom I missed her. Maybe I should go back and pretend everything's okay, but something about him feels off now, and I just don't know anymore. I'm sorry if this is all over the place and extremely long. I just can't talk to anyone about this, and it's eating me alive. I probably left some things out of context, so sorry about that too. We have the most popular comment on this post, which might help answer something for us. Someone commented, "Does the fiancé know where you have left to?" The author writes, "Gladly, he was never in my home country." Oh my God, you went back to your home country. That's where your mom is? Oh, I thought she was just in the neighborhood or like in the same city as you. He has a super demanding job, so he doesn't even take vacations, so it was nearly impossible for him to find me. Even if he tries, I'm not even in the capital or near there. Oh girl. You know, the title said I ran away, and I just thought like I ran away to my mom's house, which is a 10-minute drive up the street or something. No, you're gone. You are absolutely gone. Wow. Don't worry, we got an update on this, but I don't know how I feel yet. I need to investigate this a little bit further, but grab your beverage of choice. It's water in my cup. Let me know what's in yours. Cheers. Drink your water. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Update came February 11th, 2025, 10 days later. So I'm going to try to make this as chronologically accurate and concise as possible. If something is unclear, I'll clarify in the comments. The first thing I did after my last post was get a blood pregnancy test. Probably a good idea. It was negative. That night, I also spoke to my mom. I wasn't comfortable sharing every single detail, so I left some things out, but she told me she supports me and that I can stay with her for as long as I need. I also talked to my sisters. They admitted they never liked the idea of me dating someone so much older. I don't think I clued into the date thing. 26, 34. Oh, that didn't even clue in my mind. But they didn't want to push me because they know me. If they did, I'd probably get angry, distance myself, and become even more dependent on him. I apologized for overreacting at everything and assured them that they should never hesitate to tell me if something feels weird or wrong. I called my boss and gave him a more family-friendly version of the story. He was absolutely livid, not only with him, but also me for not telling him sooner. He's like my work dad and was the one who requested I join him. He said he didn't bring me to a foreign country without intending to take care of me. Oh, he promised to pull some strings to get me a position at the office in my country since my former position was already filled. Oh, so you moved there for work, your boss kind of brought you on, and now he might help you find the job back in your country. Got it. He also told me that if I wanted to get my things back, I could go back on a Saturday and he would accompany me. Bless work dad. After thinking about it, I decided to go back. It might seem silly, but I had spent a lot of money on K-pop photo cards. I love that that is the first thing you named on this list. Albums, mangas, and I didn't want to start my collection from scratch. So I spent a couple of days with friends and visiting family, realizing how lonely and isolated I felt in a foreign country, even though it's not that far from home. I knew I could never leave my family like that again. Even my dog seemed happier, spending every afternoon cuddling with my mom. I also visited my father's grave. I've always hated cemeteries and avoided them, but I needed him at that moment. My heart. I went alone, brought fresh flowers, cleaned a little, and just sat there talking to him. I told him none of this would have happened if he hadn't passed away. I cried a lot, then laughed like a crazy person. I ended up staying for about 3 hours, but it felt so healing. When we go visit Matt's mom's grave, I always talk to her. I always just shoot the shit with her. It is comforting. It's strange because you're just talking essentially to nothing, but I'm like, girl, you are never gonna guess. I also went to my mom's gynecologist and she said it was possible to get a tubal ligation, especially considering my health issues. She warned me it could take about 6 months, but I was okay with the wait, so we started the process. I felt so free after that appointment and just so much happier being home. I didn't even think about my ex until he messaged me asking about my mom. I told him she was doing better and that I'd be back on Saturday. I decided to talk to him face to face since I was already going back to collect my things. Yeah, you're gonna have to tell him. On Friday afternoon, my sister lent me her car and I drove back. It's almost a 12-hour drive, but with breaks, it took about 14 hours. I went straight to my boss's house, and when I arrived around 9 a.m., he asked me to have breakfast with him and his family. Afterward, he and his son came with me to my ex's house to help me pack up my things. I even got some of my favorite plants. They made fun of my taste in music, and we finished in about an hour and a half. Afterward, I went to my ex's sister's house. I needed to know if the whole baby incident had been a setup. I knew she didn't work on Saturdays, so I went to her house. Oh, a setup, like that whole day was planned to try to get you to like maybe want a baby? Luckily, she was home and invited me in. We sat in awkward silence for a moment until I asked her, me, did your brother ask you to make me hold the baby? Her, what? No, why? What even happened that day? When I went downstairs, you weren't there and he said you got sick and had to leave. Me? What did he tell you exactly? Her. He said you had a panic attack because of fertility issues and holding the baby was triggering. I told him that didn't sound like you, but he said, how are you supposed to know more about my fiance than I do? Then he left. Me. What the actual... Her. Yeah, he even said you wanted to babysit and go to the park as a couple with the baby. But I told him he was crazy if he thought I'd let him use my baby like that. He got mad at me and didn't speak to me for a couple of days. So maybe it was more of a setup in his mind. He's like, we can play house with my adorable little nephew and it's gonna make you want to have a baby. Then I laughed and explained what actually happened. She was furious, so mad, she started crying. She apologized for leaving me with the baby and I apologized for saying that I was going to put the baby on the floor, clarifying that I wasn't actually going to do that. She said she was genuinely considering going low contact with him because his behavior was creepy and she feared he might do something to the baby. I decided to tell her that I was leaving her brother and she said she understood. We hugged and she said that she'd miss me. Okay, so clearly his behavior is like a lot stronger about this baby than I think even the story is telling. Because even if the sister is feeling like creepy and put off by her brother's actions, I feel like it might be a lot bigger than just the one incident. I went back to my boss's house to wait for my ex to get home. I told him to text me when he got off work. I was a nervous wreck. I almost threw up. My boss's wife made me chamomile tea and stayed by my side, rubbing my back. I honestly love that woman, the whole family really. My boss and his son came with me to his apartment. One thing about my boss, he's a softie, but he's huge. He is 6'3" and about 286 pounds, and his son is basically a carbon copy of him, so I felt pretty safe. When my ex got home, he smiled at me, but then saw my boss and his son. He asked me what was going on. We got the conversation. Me. I'm breaking up with you. You're clearly going through a baby fever phase, and I don't want any part of that. Him. What do you mean breaking up? We can't break up. We love each other. Me. No, you love the idea of me being pregnant with your child, and that's not going to happen. He tried to hug me, but my boss grabbed his shoulder and said, why don't you sit here with me? Him. I can't lose you. I love you. You're my soulmate. I can't live without you. If you leave me, I'll die. I would rather never have kids than lose you. I'll even get a vasectomy. But please stay. What will our families think? You can't just break off the engagement like this. Me. First of all, this isn't a telenovela, so calm down. Wait, a telenovela? I read that. Telenovela. That's fun to say. Second, I never even told my family we were engaged, and I've already told them that we broke up. Oh my God. This is a lot. Him. What about the dog? You can't just take her. Me. What dog? The dog I've had since I was 17? That's my dog, and she barely tolerates you. Trust me, she's much happier with my mom. He started sobbing and tried to speak, but I couldn't understand him. My boss's son couldn't choose a worse moment to laugh and asked, "You really didn't tell your family?" Me. I just never found the right moment, you know? My ex calmed down a little and said he'd never let me go. He still loved me, blah, blah, blah. I felt a little threatened when he said something like, "I'll find you and make you fall in love with me again." I told him, good luck with that. But seriously, we're not in a telenovela. Enough with the drama. I gave him back the ring and he threw it at me, though it didn't hit me. I said, I hope you find someone who wants kids, but I also hope you get psychological help. And we left. I spent the night at my boss's house and the next morning I went back home. I spent the rest of Sunday sleeping because I had a bit of a fever. That's me, the girl that gets emotional fevers. I helped my mom with her business today and my therapy session is on the 13th. Due to how things went in the office, I'll start again in March. They kind of fired me to rehire me. That's great for you. Thank you so much for helping me see how crazy this whole situation was. I feel so happy and so light now. I forgot how much I love having my family around. I probably won't update again unless something crazy happens, but yeah, thank you people, especially women of Reddit. Edit. We have an edit from her. Edit to clarify a couple of things. 1, some people said and even messaged me to tell me I never loved my fiance and I'm a horrible cold person. I did love him and I think I still do. I had a whole script memorized to talk with him about his sister's baby, he wanting unprotected sex, why I ran away, but I panicked and forgot everything and decided to just be blunt and direct. I mean, it did come off pretty like, see you later, fiance. But hey, I'm not in that situation. 2, I didn't take 2 men to make fun of him while I broke up with him. That's actually insane. They came with me because I didn't feel safe with my ex alone. 3, people saying I need therapy. I know I already made the appointment. It's on the 13th. 4, about the tube ligation, which I'm probably saying wrong. It's nothing confirmed yet, but I'll try to get a bilateral salpingectomy. Someone here actually let me know what that was. I wanted a hysterectomy, but that's basically impossible according to my doctor. 5, some people told me this sounds fake. I wish, but no, it's real. Maybe it's the way I worded or because English is not my first language. I don't know, but there is that. And that is the end of her post, but she was in the comments section answering a lot of things. So these are the most important comments. Someone commented, your boss's son had me cackling. I'd be careful about your ex though. Sounds like the start of a stalker behavior. She wrote, my mom has security cameras already, so I'm feeling confident. Also, I don't think he's going to leave everything to follow me, not even knowing where I am. Someone else commented, the fact that a 26-year-old woman can opt into a tubal in your country with very little work is so mind-blowing to me. I know that's not the right takeaway from this, but dang. She wrote, it's not that easy of a process. I have to make appointments with a general doctor. I already have my gynecologist, then a licensed psychologist needs to give me an okay. And because I have POS, I need an appointment with an endocrinologist or something like that. It's long, but it's doable. I don't even know what a tubal is. I don't know if I want to know. Surgery? All right. Okay, so it is surgical procedure to prevent pregnancy. Okay. Oh, getting your tubes tied. Oh my God, girl, please, for my sake, you could have just said that. I really could have put the two together if I had a brain. Another comment. I'm curious, is there a legal way to keep an eye on him in his country? Also, is he active on social media and tends to share everything from when he gets up and then walks to work as he picks his nose? His responses are making me a bit uneasy. It seems like he's genuinely clueless about the consequences of his actions and how they've affected you. She wrote, I don't think they can really just watch him without cause, but my boss's wife advised me to go to a police station before going out of the country again to let them know I was leaving willingly just in case. And no, he doesn't post on social media, just big events like birthdays, anniversaries, and that kind of stuff. I don't really have I have so many different thoughts about this whole thing. I feel like you do have to just trust your gut. I think there's a lot more to this relationship and this whole situation though. I don't think it was based on that one thing. There's gotta be more. There's gotta be more context. But if you're feeling unsafe. You weren't on the same page about children. Like, I don't think the relationship was ever going to work in the long run. If you guys don't want the same things and the pressure that you might have felt. Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know. I have a lot of mixed emotions. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. See ya.